Hey everybody, I'm coming. How are you? Happy 2023. Welcome to Civics for the Soul. I'm doing this myself, so hold on. Just move on up toward your destination. I gotta make sure you all can see me. I think y'all can see me. Hello, everyone. So good to see you. Let's play this for a second. And take a trip. This is so perfect for the moment. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Civics for the Soul. I know it's been a while. Happy New Year. Happy 2023. I wanted to just drop in for a second. I really didn't prepare today, but I wanted to just stay engaged, stay in contact with all of you, have our discussion. Sometimes you don't have to have it all planned out. You just need to just do. And so that's what I'm going to do more of, just do. 2022 is come and gone. You know, I don't want to say good riddance, but because it taught us a lot. But 2022 was rough for my family, for a lot of my friends, people that I know. I don't know about all of you, but I'm looking forward to 2023. I want to honor a number of people, you know, before we sort of get into it. Honor my all the ancestors, all of our new ancestors, the people that we lost. My cousin Nikki, want to lift her up, her spirit up. A sister, Yolanda. So I don't know if many of you all know well, she had a number of things that she was doing, but she had a storefront, she had a nail salon, she had a wellness salon, and it was called Iwi Fresh. And she recently passed away, and she was a soror, and she just a wonderful woman. Her legacy, her impact on the community. She's always about uplifting Black women and supporting women, and doing it with her work. She made it a part of her business and just her life's work to do that. So we want to lift her up because recently she passed away. You know, for me, this year I think will be just a year of intention. Last year, 2022, was really a year of reflection and gratitude. You know, just taking stock of everything that we have, being thankful for it, being thankful that we're still here. So it's a year of reflection for me. But I think going forward in 2023, this is going to be a year of intention, and making sure that we set out to do the things we say what we mean what we say, and that our actions are going to be a reflection of that. So just honoring all those people that we lost, thinking about the people that we still have with us going into it. I hope that you all have an idea of what you all want to do this year, what you want to accomplish in 2023, and not just accomplish in terms of things or actions, or but just stuff you want to focus more on, whether it's family, whether it's engaging your friends, whether it's just impacting your community. We don't need a title to have impact. You know, I'll never forget, there was a Reverend Barber said, you know, because I was going through a rough time, and he said, listen, you know, he said Pharaoh had the title, but Moses had the testimony. And so with everything that we do, I hope that we'll go into a spirit of intention. So this morning I was talking to my kids. We were doing a Bible lesson on perseverance. And of course, started with the scriptures, Romans 5:3-5. And it says, we also glory in our sufferings, because we know that with suffering produces perseverance, character, and character, hope. And I think that this is a great meditation for today. It's a great message also, given that it's Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. weekend, and we're going to be celebrating tomorrow as a day on and not a day off. I mean, I have some challenges with that too, because I'm like, the only holiday where we're supposed to get off, you want us to work, but that's not what Dr. King intended. But So we talk about Dr. King this weekend, but I thought that that would be a wonderful sort of entry point for us to this idea of perseverance. And I was telling my kids that um, things are not always going to be easy. And 2022 was not easy for a lot of us. 2021 was not easy. Things are not going to be easy, but you have to have a strength of mind. Um, you have to continue on. You have to know that there's a purpose and plan for your life. You have to know that God does not make mistakes. You have to know that God is within you. And you have to just carry on because we don't know how this plan is going to play out. And if there's anything that I've seen in this past year, is that I had no idea how God is going to work this thing out. But I made a decision about the life that I wanted, the things that I want to do, the impact that I want to have with my family, my friends, my community. And I trust that God is going to do that. But we got to persevere. And with perseverance breeds character. And with character breeds hope, which is something I really wanted to talk to my kids about also because, we talk about Dr. King in so many different ways. Hey, Happy New Year, TK. I knew you would somehow find me and join in. But I was talking to the kids, and of course, my daughter says, all they talk about is Dr. King's dream. True, and we need to do better, particularly as we do our civic work and as we educate students about civics. We have to make sure that we are providing the whole history, the whole story, because if we don't provide that, then we can't do that work. Um, so Dr. King, in order for him to get to this point of having a dream, he had to have hope. And remember, that means that he had to have perseverance and character to get to the hope, to have the dream. But no one really focuses on the perseverance, this perseverance of our beautiful community of elders and ancestors who put in the fight. They put in this work. It started with this, well, it started a long time ago, but in recent memory, it started with this Montgomery bus boycott and the Black women who were in the basement of the church who decided that this is what they were going to do. It's for the betterment of the community. And you have to think about all the things that they had to endure. You had Jim Crow. It was okay for people to lynch people. It's okay to put hoses and dogs on people. It's okay in America to do these things. It's okay to terrorize Black people in this way, to tell them that they have to go over here to have lunch. You have to go over here to get an education. And I can't say that they all knew that this was the end was going to be what it was. Perhaps they didn't, but they persevered anyway. And they had a belief that it would change and it would be different. And it is different for all of us in a lot of ways. And in a lot of ways, it's not. But the idea of how Dr. King had to get to that point of a dream, he had to persevere. He had to have the character, the mindset to stay there, the relationship with God to stay there. And he had to have hope. And so I'm hoping that that's something that we can all reflect on this year. We have to persevere. I have a lot of friends that I found out recently are struggling with cancer, and they're dealing with parents who are sick and ill. And I guess my message to them, message to myself, is that we have to just persevere. God does, in fact, have a purpose and plan for us. I didn't intend to have a sermon today, but this is what's on my heart. I want to shout out the lovely ladies of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. This is our 115th, I guess, Founders Day. We've been here. What the perseverance of those women to always be in scholarship and in service to all mankind. So I want to shout them out, all the other members of the D9. I think Delta Sigma Theta celebrated a couple of days ago. You have Zeta Phi Beta, Sigma Gamma Rho, all the fraternities as well. We have to really get back to our roots. Why did these organizations even begin? Why did we feel like we had to come together in the way that we did? It was a reason. They knew that if we worked together, if we were collaborative, if they had a collective common objective, which is the liberation of our people and the upliftment of the race, that was what they were doing. If they knew that if we did that together, we could get there. Dr. King knew that. All the activists and organizers that were around Dr. King. They knew that. And so I'm hoping that this King holiday, we will be reminded of all the work that people had to do, all the collectivism that was involved. I hope that all the sororities and fraternities, we will remember the collectivism that is involved and necessary in order for us to liberate ourselves. Dr. King, see, I have a few notes. Let's see. Oh, just a reminder, with him, let's try this year to just remind people of all the other things that Dr. King discussed. I know it's very easy. It's not an unimportant point, this I Have a Dream speech, but maybe point out to others that you see the other aspects of that speech. Maybe point them to his speech that he made at Abyssinia. Point them to some other work. Point them to the Atlanta History Center where they have his papers. Morehouse College, give them some other reference points. Give yourself some reference points so we understand the collective work that needs to happen, and so that we understand comprehensively who we are and what we need to do. We're up against white supremacy, which is a multi-layered, multi-century, multi-generational, multi-dimensional, system of oppression. And the only way that you overcome that is if you work together. And I hope that in 2023, I hope that we do more of that. There were some things that happened in 2022 that quite frankly, I don't like. I don't like what we did. We're playing a lot of status quo politics. Didn't like that. Just rolling with folks. Just letting folks just do any and everything. I was watching the House Republicans do that whole thing with Kevin McCarthy, and it took them about 15 votes, but finally I guess they got on the same page. But we just let all that tomfoolery just happen. They've made a mockery of Congress. They really have. And all we say is, oh, well, that's them. No, that's not enough. I hope that we will be encouraged to do more action in that regard. Some things I hope we won't be doing in 2023 beyond playing the status quo. I hope that we will stop being petty with one another when it comes to representation and politics. And what am I talking about? So let me see how I'm going to put this, because again, this is not scripted. So I was looking at the Warnock campaign. And I'm so proud of Reverend Warnock and his team, and I have wonderful friends who worked on that campaign. I can't believe that we had a situation where it was between him and Herschel Walker and this whole runoff. I can't even believe we got to a runoff, but then again, I can't believe it, right? And we were happy for him. At the same time, though, I saw a whole lot of pettiness between him and Stacey Abrams and his team, her team, and I'm not going to be afraid to say it. You go ahead, honey. No one can see you on the camera, dear. Okay? You're good. I told you, nobody can see you. You're fine. Okay. I'm live, yeah. Okay. So anyway, I saw a whole bunch of like petty politics with that, because people got on the Georgia gang. I'm trying not to be specific. Got on the Georgia gang. People around town that I spoke with directly, they all know who I'm talking about. Several people, and they were saying, well, he won his race, she didn't win her race. Okay, she didn't win. They took issue with her campaign manager, I think, who wrote this 52 tweet sort of diatribe about what happened. Didn't really appreciate that personally, but then at the same time, they felt they had to say something. But here's the thing with that. I think we need to be less petty, because this is not about somebody else's campaign and this campaign. This is about the collective. We got to keep our eye on the prize. Stop getting caught up in this other foolishness. Here's the thing. Here's what we know. No matter what you may think of a Stacey Abrams, there was absolutely no reason why she should have lost that race. There are people who have us living on a modern day plantation Any person I run into and I run down all the stats, then they have nothing to say. There's absolutely no reason why she should have lost that race. But she did. And we're sitting back and we're being petty with one another about it. Here's what we know. She had to have the vision years ago, decades ago, that the state of Georgia could be different. Then she had to build her own infrastructure, an infrastructure that nobody else wanted to build. She had to build her own infrastructure to allow herself the opportunity a decade later to run. Can you imagine that? She had New Georgia Project. She had to register millions and millions of voters in ways that other people had not done. Then the most recent year, she had to get a law firm, her good friend, to file litigation and to defend lawsuits because of voter suppression, because of the response of what happens when you try to register Black people to vote. She had to do all that, come up with this whole infrastructure. And then on top of that, had to run a campaign. Now, you can feel however you want to feel about that. Here's what we do know. Warnock's campaign, they took notes from her campaign. Even Brian Kemp, I saw a number of Republicans who said that, they borrowed from her work. And so for all these people to borrow and take from her framework and then turn around and tell her that she didn't run a good race, really? That's what we're doing now? And I can deal with other folks outside the community who do this, but Black folks, we're gonna have to do better. Because this speaks to that unspoken, the often dismissed, often ignored labor that Black women do all day, every day. We run around here, we build systems, complete an entire infrastructure and systems upon which people build their whole livelihood, upon which people win their own races. We build people up. And then those very same people turn around and tell us that we didn't do enough. How dare you? Get it together in 2023. I hope we get that together. Stop being so petty with one another, particularly when we're talking about general just representation, because this isn't about liberation. That's a very different thing. This is just about whether we're going to be represented in Congress and the state legislature, wherever else. I hope we stop being so petty with one another in 2023. I also hope we stop ignoring Black women's work. There are city council members, I think it's Marcy Collier Overstreet and Andrea Boone here in Atlanta. They took out an ad in the AJC to speak to the city council president here in Atlanta, who's been excluding them from committees. Because again, no matter what you feel about the particular work, that whether you like some of these women or not, that's not the point. If they're doing work and they're accountable to someone, there should be no reason why you're excluding them. There's no reason why they shouldn't be on committees. There's no reason why they shouldn't win races. I hope that we begin to value their work. I don't know how we got into a point. Well, yeah, I do know how. I know how we got to the point where now we have Black women who are being excluded from the city council and the committees. Part of the reason that we got there is because we've been too petty and we haven't been focused on what we need to be focused on, which is the collective work and operating toward the larger liberation of our folks. We all think that we're on different, we're in different groups, I guess. Let's be very clear. We are all in the same boat. At the end of the day, they're going to put us right back all on the same plantation. Now, they don't care if it's a house nigga, field nigga, y'all niggas. In the words of, what's the guy who used to work with Richard Pryor? Paul Mooney. We all in the same boat. And I think we need to get back to the basics, as I was saying before. Get back to the basics. Get back to why we founded sororities. Get back to how we built up Atlanta after the Civil War. Get back to the HBCUs, how we had to work together because we had a common objective, which is our liberation. If we focus on that, if we keep our eyes on the prize, then we get there. When we start acting brand new, when we start being petty, it doesn't work for us. It never has, and it never will. We need to get back to the basics. So I hope that we'll ask ourselves this question, what are we doing this for? If you're a member of an organization, you need to do an assessment this year. What type of work are they doing? For whose benefit? Is this about titles? Is this about being seen? Is this about having banquets? Is this about putting on pretty dresses? Is this about saying, oh, my kids are involved in this? What are we doing? What is the organization doing? Get back to the basics. And you can be somebody who's middle class, upperly mobile. You can be upper class. It doesn't matter. You still have to ask yourself that question. What is the role that you're supposed to play in this larger liberation moment for us? This is the question that John and Lugenia Hope asked, head of Morehouse College at the turn of the century. Lugenia Hope, she's the one who's responsible for everything we know about civic actions today as Black people. She's responsible for that. The women with the Montgomery bus boycott, they learned from Lugenia Hope here in Atlanta at the turn of the century. She's the one who they looked to for their example. This was a wealthy woman, but she knew that we only get there if we work together. So ask yourselves this year, I'll be asking myself the same in the spirit of intention that I have going this year. What am I doing for the rest of us? What am I doing to uplift our people? What am I doing towards our collective liberation? I hope you ask that same question of yourself, of your friends. Encourage them. Don't yell at them right away. Some folks need a little help because they lost themselves. Okay, so don't be too mean to them, but ask them, ask yourself, and I'll be asking myself the same. I hope you got something from it today. I'm going to be doing a lot more writing this year. My spirit of intention. I'm going to be putting my words and my work on paper and having it published. So I'll be doing that more of, but I hope to see y'all at least every month. As with anything, peace and love to each and every one of you. I hope that the start to the new year has been good for you, and I hope it continues. Peace and love. Thank you.